All right, welcome back, my dear student. Now, this is Edwin from the future. So you might see some files in this lecture that you don't have yet. Don't worry. I'm here because I'm adding lectures to the course. I think it's very important for you to find out exactly how to code AJAX with pure JavaScript. I want to give you the foundation so that way you can understand how things work and how to even do it with JavaScript. Even though most of the time you're not going to be using JavaScript, you're going to be using jQuery or something similar to it because it's easier and is very compatible with a lot of browsers out there. All right? There's a lot of stuff that goes behind the scenes that sometimes if you use just pure JavaScript, you're not going to get it working in all browsers. But anyway, so in AJAX, we have something called ready states, and these ready states are coming from the server. These are responses that we're getting when we're trying to communicate with the server. So the ready states, there are 4 ready states. And as you can see right now, 0 is request not initialized, 1 is server connection established, 2 request received, processing request, and the 4 is the most important one, when the request is finished and the response is ready. All right, and then we have statuses. We got 200 and 400, which are the most important thing. If you don't have that file or for some reason the server cannot reach it, it will give you that 404 not found page error on the screen, and you've probably seen that before. The 200 is the one that we care about, which is everything went okay and you're going to see the functionality happening or the web page, right? So that's what 200 and 4 do, is just when everything is ready and everything is good to go, we're getting these responses, 4 and 200. I want you to know that because later on we're going to be using that. All right, so I made a file. I want you to create a file called javascript.php and another one javascript.html. all right, let's go to javascript.html. Let's create some boilerplate or some HTML skeleton, if you want to call it that. And here I'm going to try to do everything on this lecture, so this lecture might be a little longer than the rest. So in order for us to initialize AJAX, all right, to have everything working, we need to create an object. All right, so objects is like a blueprint. For those of you that don't know what an object is, in programming it's like a blueprint. So it could be something like this. Let me show you. This is how you can do an object in PHP. And most languages, objects are the same in every language, programming language. So let me give you a little introduction here. So you can create an object called user. All right, and then here you will have functions. This would be an example function. All right, and then you can just execute whatever you want in here, right? Of course, it's a function, right? Well, this is the object because it's a blueprint. This is like the container of methods. Now inside a class or inside an object, right, inside this blueprint, this is called a method instead of a function. Even though it says function, it's called a method. So that's a method, and I want to show you properties, and this would be a property. This is using PHP. all right, just don't mind the way you write it. Username. All right, let's just do JavaScript. All right, so this would be an attribute. Some people call it attribute, some people call it property, all right, or variable of a class, of a blueprint. Now down here is where you create the object. So you got the blueprint with the methods and property, and you can have as many as you want. And that down here is where you create this new object. You say new, and you use the object name, parentheses, and that's it. You created this object and you assign it any name you want. Object 10. There we go. And now here in this variable, you are going to have all the functionalities of your functions inside, or methods, and all the properties available. And every time you want to use that object, all you have to do is use the name of that object, dot whatever. It depends on what language you are using. All right, so that whatever function you have, like this, and that will execute that function because you're using the object now to execute whatever is inside that class or that blueprint. And you can access the variable as well, and you can assign him different values as well. All right, so dot username, and you can assign this a different. So now you created an object, and you can create as many objects as you want. You can create object 12, and object 12 could have, you can assign the username property to something else like Maria. So now this object has a different property value. You see what I mean? So you can create unlimited objects. Now this is not a object class or anything like that. I just wanted you to have some type of idea on what an object and method and properties are before we start. All right, so I try my best. Hopefully you understand it. If not, rewind the video and try to understand it. You don't need to understand it to follow along, but I just wanted you to know that. So anyways, how do we initialize AJAX? Very simple. We create an object, and the object name is already defined. It's a mail HTTP request, and you can see it right here. All right, it needs to be written exactly the way I'm doing it right now, and then the parentheses. All right, and then we can assign it to a variable, and we can assign it to, let's say, whatever variable I want. The object, I'm going to call it the object, and of course we need the assignment operator there, and that's how you initialize everything. And now you start using this object to access methods and properties of the AJAX, so that way you can communicate with the server. All right, this is all defined already for you. You don't have to do anything special here. You don't have to do customs objects or anything like that. All right, so now that I explained to you how it works, on the next lecture I'm going to show you this working, and hopefully we can finish in the next lecture everything that we have to do. We can finish everything we have to do. All right, so again, if you did not understand, don't worry about it. You don't need it, but I wanted you to know it, and you can always rewind the video and watch it 100 times if you need to. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next lecture.